You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vanderpump Rules After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vanderpump Rules After Show.
Welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Vanderpump Rules. This is Season 2, Episode 16, the final episode, Reunion, Part Number 2. I'm Jake DuPree, your host, along with
Sabrina Walker. Hi, I'm Kristina, Zias.
And a very, very special guest who I'm sure has a lot to say tonight, Miss Kristen Doute.
Woo! Happy belated birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. What did you do for your birthday?
We got a little crazy last night. I feel like I'm still kind of celebrating throughout the week.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I have friends and family coming in town this weekend, so I'm like, we're just going to keep it going for a full week.
Why not? Did you go out with a big group of people?
Yeah, we had dinner. And
what about anybody from the cast? Were there anybody from the cast there?
Mr. Jax Taylor, Miss Sheena Marie, Mr. Michael Shea were all present.
That's awesome. You guys went to Pearls, right?
We had dinner at Pearls, and then we went to this bar called Black on Santa Monica.
Perfect.
Super cute.
That's good. Cool. Glad you were there. Glad that happened.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. Now, we need to start talking about, I want to get right off because this is whenever you storm in again from leaving. And then, did you Watch What Happens Live?
Oh, Stassi's? I did not.
Yes. You didn't.
It was my birthday yesterday. I didn't even watch the episode.
Well, they had a shady segment about you. Did you hear about this at all? And it was like Kristen making moments about herself. That was the segment, and it was really silly. It was really silly to me because I felt. I mean, you've heard the things we've said on here about you as well, and we're gonna own it. But
totally,
it was kind of weird. I thought Andy was kind of shady to you the entire reunion,
and Lisa,
and Lisa.
Well, obviously
general.
Lisa was.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way about Andy when we were filming it, but when I watched it back, I'm like, Andy, shady palm tree, like.
Yeah, it was just like it was like he's not supposed to be. I don't think he should be chiming in, and he was like saying little things at you, and I was just like, I just don't think that's your place.
Yeah, I mean, he always seems to play kind of in the middle for the Real Housewives. Sometimes he makes comments, but
I mean, and you know he has favorites, obviously.
Yeah, but I felt like it was much more clear this time, and I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Well, and Tom is one of his absolute favorites, so maybe.
And they're from the hometown, yeah. Right. So it's like
I wonder if it
for those people
kind of like has to do a little bit with like an age thing too. Almost like I'm older and wiser than you.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where I see him coming from a little bit.
And he is.
Right.
Yes.
Good point.
Yeah, that's very true. But what did you feel whenever you went away? Did you go and talk to producers? Were they like, you have to go back in? Like, what happened?
Yeah, one of the producers asked me to go back in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was my choice to walk off. Obviously, this wasn't like a staged thing.
Yeah.
It was just too much. To have to sit there and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at this point, and even now, but at that point, I was well aware that Tom was dating Ariana. I never had to see it.
Yeah.
And as well as anyone that I was dating or seeing or whatever, I would never throw it in his face. So I just felt like it was a dig. I don't think that it was this genuine, like, we just really want to hold hands right now. It was like, I'm going to show you because you're sitting directly across
It was
from
an
me.
Awkward moment that they would hold hands. I would never do that to an ex.
Yeah.
I mean, I know y'all's situation is very colored and
obviously.
Yeah, a little unique, but I don't know. It was strange. I did feel a lot for you during this reunion. I thought that they were like, it was in on Kristen like the whole time.
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah. I mean,
it was coming right back at me. Everything that I did.
Yeah, but it's like, I felt like Jax got off kind of easy. And I was like, what the hell? Like, we were talking about this last week. We were like, he's forgiven for everything that he does because everyone's just like, oh, they expect it. Like, they expect him to be.
We talked about that the entire season.
Yeah, they expect him to be a bad person, which you don't want to be that. I would never want to be that person. Like, that's weird.
Wait, can I just ask you something? Going back to like what you just said about Tom and Ariana, like kind of them throwing it in your face. Because I feel like we didn't get to talk to you about part 1 of the reunion,
Right.
but a lot of it was about this new guy that you're dating. And I feel like Tom made it a big point to be like, you're kind of like threw that in his face, you know?
So funny to me. I die.
Why? Like, what to you is funny about it? Because
It's funny, like, not really hot. It's just strange funny. The way that Tom projects this, like, victim, like, he was my best friend and you went and, like, he stole you away from me, and or like, you know, I just did it like very vindictive. Like, that's not how it was. We've known James just as long as one another. They were good friends, and yes, they did make music together. I think that Tom was trying to use James to produce tracks for him because James does very well. And at the end of it all, right around the time that he cheated on me again with Ariana, which is when we broke up in November, he kind of just fell off the map. He really wasn't speaking to anyone anymore as far as our group of friends, other than Sheena, Shay, and Ariana. He wasn't talking to James. James and I were really great friends. We hung out 7 days a week with a couple of our other friends that we hang out with now.
But were Tom and him living together?
No. The plan
you and Tom were still living together.
Tom and I were still living together. We broke up in mid-November. Tom wanted me to move out by January 1st and wanted James to move in. So that was the plan. So
Gotcha.
For a month after Tom and I broke up, he really wasn't speaking to James anymore. And James and I were hanging out, and it wasn't a plan. It wasn't a ploy to get him back or to screw him over. It literally just happened.
Right.
We kind of tried to like diffuse the situation. James and I, like, even between us, it was like, do we really want to do this? I don't know. It just happened. And right after that, I went home for the holidays, and Tom basically gave James an ultimatum, and he said, either you can be friends with her or you can be friends with me.
Yeah.
But you can't have both because it really bothers me. And James chose Tom. He told me that he couldn't do it, and it was just too complicated. A few days later, I come home from, the holidays, like being back in Michigan, and it just kind of fell back into place. And for James, what I really appreciate about James is that he really, and a lot of people have weird views on this, that he was trying to, like, convince me Tom was a bad person or something like that, but it wasn't. He was being a really great friend to me during this time because Tom had been hooking up with Ariana for longer than I even knew.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about on this episode specifically.
Yeah. James told me. Tom confided in him, and okay, maybe that was shady on James's part to screw Tom over that way. But as my good friend, it was kind of this weird stuck in the middle thing.
Yeah, that's
how
tough.
could he not tell me? And actually the first night that he and I ever kind of had any sort of chemistry was the night that he literally was like, stop crying. He's dating someone else. Suck it up and move on with your life.
Yeah.
And something, I don't know what it was, that it was coming from him rather than like Sheena or like one of my girlfriends that I would ignore them. It just hit me.
Like, he didn't have to say that necessarily.
No.
I feel like sometimes guys, though, make you see things a little bit more clearly,
Right.
too, when you hear it from another man, being like, this is it. It's like black and white.
Yeah, and he wasn't doing it to screw Tom over at all. It was almost, in a way, it was like helping me and helping Tom because it was making me let go of Tom so so he could move on with his life.
I will
too.
say, just having you here, just having you here, it seems like there's like a lightness to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Good.
And we got a tweet from Christy Lynch, and she asked if you and Tom were together the last time you were on with us. Because it was interesting for us on the show because I felt like you two were having like almost like a therapy session on the couch, and we were just like sitting here like, this is their show. Like, what
I don't remember what episode that was.
I don't remember
It was a
exactly.
while
It was a
ago.
while ago. It was like around. It was around.
We broke up
November.
Around November, yeah.
Before Thanksgiving.
It was a little bit before
I think
that.
we were still together at that point.
Yeah.
Were you guys not together, though, when you went on Watch What Happens Live? Yeah.
We weren't.
Wow. That was some good acting.
Yeah.
That was some good acting.
Yeah, and it's not to like mess with the fans or say like, overacting, it's scripted, but what good would it be if we spoiled the whole thing and said, hey, we're not together, so the last few episodes, because even in the finale, we're still together. So it was really just he and I trying to be professional and not ruin the show.
And
Right.
Tom, I think, said that last week. He was like, we wanted to keep it because Stassi ruined it.
the whole
The
back
whole
to
Jackson thing.
Right. It's like
not even halfway through the
as
first
much as the fans
few
like they
episodes.
come up to us at SUR or wherever and they like, so wait, tell me.
Yeah.
They don't really want to know. You want to wait. You want to take the ride. That's the point of having a television show, So it was just, both Tom and I, we just said we'd be professional and we used the whole, we're working on things. I don't know. We didn't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I read a little interesting article. I think it was on Radar Online or something, but that you said that you two
I know
like
exactly
hooked
what you're
up or
talking
something
about.
while you were in New York. Did you?
We made out.
Oh.
And this is what he told me. To be completely honest, I don't even remember going back to his hotel room. We got extremely drunk
After
the first night that we were there. No, this was the day before. This is what's so funny, and I'm so glad we get to talk about this right now, because I did read the Instagram post. And what's so great about it, when it comes to Tom, and I'm not trying to throw shade, but why lie about something that's not worth lying about? So in his little rant, he went on to say that I went back to his room to watch the Housewives episode. Okay, different day altogether. The night that I was speaking of was the first night we got to New York. A friend hooked us up with the owner of this bar. We got really drunk, went back to the hotel, whatever. The next day, I went to his hotel room to get ready to go to do press for the day, and I saw a couple of beer bottles from the bar we were at, and it was like, oh shit! I'm like, did we?
So you didn't remember?
I don't have a clue. I mean, we were doing shots of 1942, like beers,
shit.
like it was crazy. Yeah,
it was real. It was
I
real
don't
that
even
night.
think he probably remembers all that, but we got really drunk. Okay,
Yeah.
and so I just said, oh, did we hang out in your room? And it was that. Yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Later that night at dinner, James sends me a text and says, so don't hook up with Tom again tonight. I have no idea what he's talking about. I showed the text to Tom. Tom's like, we'll talk about it later, not at dinner. Later on, before Watch What Happens, he takes me outside and said, nothing happened. We were, I don't even know if he used the word made out, so I don't want to, we were
Put words in his
kissing.
mouth.
We made out, something along those lines, that I tried to hook up with him, and he kicked me out of his room. That's what Tom told me. I called James immediately, repeated that to him. Tom apparently called Ariana that night. Sheena, Shay, and our good friend Brad were all there when Tom called Ariana. So they're all aware of this, but now Tom's denying it. My opinion is because it kind of degrades their relationship and it makes him not look like a changed man.
Right, it does.
Which I really, it's just like, let it go. People are going to forget about it in 5 minutes. Why are you making such a big deal of it?
Yeah.
And saying that we were watching the Housewives episode, that was Monday, and we had friends in our room when we were watching the Housewives episode, so...
Yeah, you're just like making out in the room.
I don't have a reason to lie. I mean, on Watch What Happens, I obviously threw some shade and said, like, oh, we may or may not have avoided our separate hotel rooms. That was a dig at Ariana. Absolutely it was. I wanted her to sweat. I'm not even going to lie.
That whole time I was watching, watching it back, it's like you were just saying things, you were honestly saying things to like get under her skin. And you could see, sometimes you could see with him, he was like getting a little uncomfortable with them.
A lot uncomfortable.
So it was like, it was very strategic on your part.
Because I was still really bitter at that time. I'm not anymore, but I was then. I was really bitter and I was really butthurt, and
yeah.
so I acted like an idiot.
And
like a brat.
I will say this. I think you should watch the episode with Stassi and Watch What Happens Live. She actually said she was actually very, very nice about the situation. She was like, she doesn't think about it, but she wishes you well. So she did say that.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And I hope she doesn't think about it, because it can't cause any good for her to think about me or think about it. It is a dead horse, you know.
And how do you, I mean, like, what, have you two talked at all since?
No, just
then?
at the reunion.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to her since July. I haven't talked to Katie since July, except maybe in passing.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jax and I just, right after the reunion, because I was completely honest at the reunion, I sent Jax a text just saying, can you please just be cordial with me now at work? Because he kind of treated me like shit.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I wanted to address that.
Yeah.
So he just ignored you at work?
He was like rude. He was really rude to me, which to me, I'm like, well, how is it any different what I did and what you did?
Right.
And if anything, you guys are going through it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
And it'd be one thing for him to be, if him and Tom like made up.
Right.
To be rude to you, I could somehow understand that maybe, but the fact that he had no remorse for Tom and would just, and then be mean to you, like.
He was really mean to me the day after the finale. He's like, go back to Michigan, everyone hates you, all the girls hate you. And I'm like, well, you're just as bad as I am.
Yeah.
Maybe I lied about it longer, but you didn't tell the truth because you wanted to be a stand-up guy. You told the truth because you needed attention and relevance.
Yeah.
Your storyline kind of dropped, Jack. Sorry.
I mean, do you really think that he brought that whole thing up just to have some airtime? Because I've heard from some of his friends, because I know some people that have known him for a while, since like college, and they said words from his mouth that he did say that he brought it up so he could cause drama.
I absolutely believe that.
I do know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your
I've heard
ratings
that.
have gotten really well, so I guess it worked.
I mean,
Right.
we were all really concerned about this season. We were just like, it's the same shit from last season.
Right.
Like, oh my word. But then
It's the same time frame, the same people's birthdays, the same. And history sort of repeats itself.
But it picked up.
I think y'all really elevated it. I mean, I know it's your real life, but for us as a viewer, it elevated for us. So.
Well, one thing that was really interesting for me to see during the reunion is Tom kind of having your back at one point and referring to Stassi and kind of how Stassi made the whole thing about her. And that's something we've talked about on the show a lot, and something that I kind of find a little alarming, because obviously what happened was wrong. But the way it was handled, and that what they refer to as the public execution, in my mind was really awful to both of you, and especially to Tom. Yeah. So, but he kind of had your back in the situation, and you seemed very apologetic.
Yeah.
But I feel like at any point, were you upset? Like, I know you are remorseful for what you did, but were you kind of like, why did you not talk to me in private? Like, why did you have to publicly execute me?
As far as Stassi is concerned?
As far as Stassi is concerned.
No, I mean, I think she has a right to be upset. I do think she plays a victim. I do think Tom was the one who got more screwed over than anyone.
Right.
I think she likes the attention to be on her. I agree with everything Tom has to say regarding that. But at the same time, she and I were so close. It's like there's just no bouncing back from what I did to her. And that's the way Stassi works. Stassi doesn't work in the way of, let's have a private conversation. So.
And I guess as her friend.
I deserved, well,
last week, I mean, Tom made a little dig at Stassi. He was like, she was the one that was so gung-ho about the show in the first place, the first season when they approached all of you, whatever. And then now she's like completely so against it. And he was saying that she had been on like several reality shows, which we all know.
3,
yeah. So we were all, it was like this little dig at her, and I was
3
like.
3 plus Pump Rules,
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And do you think that she would come back for next season, if there's a next season?
You know, I don't know. I mean, Sheena and I have talked about that a lot. I don't know. I feel like.
She and you, or
Sheena? I'm sorry, Sheena and I have talked about this. Like, do we think she'll come back? Because Sheena doesn't really speak to her either. And it's like, I mean, obviously she is a very prominent cast member. She has been. But as far as what at least Tom, Sheena, and I, and Jax have going on in our lives, Stassi, I don't feel like really has any relevance anymore. I think that it's, I don't think it's that healthy for any of us to be doing this, but especially for her with what she went through the last 2 seasons. But at the same time, I mean, it is her opportunity as well. So I don't know. I think, I just don't know. I know she won't work at SUR, so I'm not sure, I guess, how to tie her in.
Yeah.
But again, she is the primary cast member, so she has just as much right as any of us to be on the show.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, what is also, speaking of Stassi, Lisa's made like very public. She's made it very public that she likes Stassi a lot, but I don't think it's necessarily an employee thing. I think it's an employee of the production of the show. Yeah, and I think that's
Stassi's really good at reality television.
Yeah.
She's good in a one-liner. She's good at a confessional moment.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
And that's, I think Lisa thinks it's a gold mine. So.
Yeah.
You know.
It's interesting.
I mean,
And
not to be a total asshole, but who's really going to say they like Stassi more than Sheena? Even when I was really mad at Sheena, I would never.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting.
Anyway.
And
wait. So you mean no one would like Stassi more than Sheena?
Yeah.
in terms of being a person.
Yeah, right.
Like a regular person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, Sheena's like the nicest person.
That's my point. And so for Lisa to publicly, I mean, I know she did it out in the E! News one time.
Yeah, she
publicly said, I favorite Stassi over
Stassi.
Sheena or something along those lines. It's like, you have the audacity to say something like that? Like, even if it's for attention, ratings, whatever it may be, it's shitty and it's hurtful.
Yeah. She said it on Watch What Happens Live again, too.
And she does,
Yeah.
How is your friendship with Sheena right now? Does she still feel in the middle of you and Ariana, or has it gotten better?
I mean, she actually, my birthday card she gave me today kind of said that, but she was like, I'm so happy to have my friend back, like, meaning my relationship with her. It's hard for her. It's more, I don't speak to her about Ariana ever. It's just, it's inappropriate. her friendship with Ariana has absolutely nothing to do with me. I would hope Ariana would act the same way to her because it's really not Sheena's fault. But it is kind of tough. It's like that weird divorced parent thing. So it's like, Sheena, what are you doing tonight? Well, Ariana's... It's like eggshells. Like, she's afraid to tell me. And I feel bad for that because it's like, that's your best friend. Okay, cool. Let's hang out Wednesday then instead. You know what I mean?
What... You guys seem to be in such like a healthy and happy place though. Like even just hearing it in your voice, it's just different than what we saw in the reunion.
Yeah.
When did you and Sheena become close? Because I feel like it was always her and Stassi. I feel like you guys had a lot of, like there was...
some animosity.
Yeah,
and we had a
definitely.
Twitter question too from Caitlin Monroe, and she said Kristen has shown nothing but contempt for Sheena, but now her BFF Ariana is dating Tom, and you're close with her. What's up with this?
Yeah,
that goes along with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been friends with Sheena for, I want to say about 5 years.
In first season, we did see
And
that.
and Tom
And they don't really ever show it because it's a... Yeah, Tom.
and Tom worked with her at Villa Blanca.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I met Sheena. Mm-hmm. And also my best friend Cindy, who's not on the show, used to be Sheena's roommate. So even before Sheena and Shay, I was friends with Sheena. There was a point where I was like, I was jealous of she and Tom working together when I didn't really know her. We became really good friends. First season, or I'm sorry, no, it was second season, second in the summer when things kind of shit hit the fan with us, I guess is what the fans were talking about, how it was like me, Katie, and Stassi against Sheena.
Yeah.
It was over contract stuff. It's stuff we can never explain on the show, on camera. We were mad at her. There was a reason. But it wasn't like she's not my friend. I was just really pissed off at her.
Mm-hmm.
And when Tom and I broke up, she and Shay were like two of the only people, as far as that group was concerned, that were there for me. Every single night of the week. Because Sheena's whole thing, she was so caught in the middle of being Ariana's best friend but being my friend, but she never condoned the cheating. And it was really hard for her because Ariana lied to her face. And they were cheating, and they did it at Sheena's house when Sheena wasn't even aware of it.
Oh.
Yeah, and they kind of used her house and used her name. Tom said he was at Sheena's when he was really at Ariana's, and Sheena was just like, don't involve me in this. If you guys do your thing, it's none of my business. Kristen's my friend, you're my friends, whatever. So it was just really hard on her, and Shay, too.
Yeah. And you could see that in Sheena's eyes within the reunion. She was tearing up a lot. And I was wondering, I was like, what has happened? Because obviously there's stuff that we don't see as a viewer.
She was just a really, really amazing friend to me during that time. And when a few weeks after Tom and I broke up, she told Tom to come stay at her place so I could have my space so he could have his space. It was like, as a friend to me, she was like, Tom, you're going to stay with me for a month.
Yeah, that's really nice.
You know?
That's nice.
She's a really good friend.
But do you regret now what has happened in the past if you've been mean to her? Because the first season, I mean, it was like the three of y'all against her, a lot of it for the first season.
First season?
I feel like
Against
for the
Sheena.
beginning
No.
of this season, it was like
It was
that a
more
lot.
this season.
Yeah.
First season.
But I feel like first season there was like this
It was
weird, like
kind
kind
of-
of like tension because Stassi was always like, "You're the home wrecking whore," and
Yeah.
y'all were like,
It was edited that way because Stassi did feel that way.
Oh, okay.
I did not.
oh, "Okay,
And I was really on Sheena's side going like, that whole Brandy, Eddie, it was so long ago, let it go. Mm-hmm. It's not like they made me say I don't like Sheena, but it was more like they just left it out that I ever stuck up for her.
yeah," because it doesn't necessarily. I mean, you're supposed to. The editing made it look like you two were Stassi's lackeys, kind of.
And of course, we were
Yeah.
little minions, Queen Stassi, all hail, I know.
Yeah.
But this season, no, I mean, I don't regret it. I was really mad at her just as she was at me. I mean, she said horrible things about me this
Yeah.
season that I had to call her out on. She's like, I was mad at you, I'm sorry. You know,
Right.
and it's water under the bridge. It's so long ago. It is what it is.
It's really refreshing. It's always so refreshing to hear in person what we don't see because it puts a lot of things into perspective that we might not necessarily. I mean, we're speaking as a viewer,
Sure.
you know, and we see what we see, and that's what we have to comment on. But it's so nice to hear all sides of the story because last week we heard Tom and Ariana's story, and you know they want to say that they did not hook up previous to that one kiss in Vegas. So,
Or that was all they did.
yeah,
until
that was all
now.
they did. Yeah, but do you know for a fact that that's not what that's?
Well, the only people that know for a fact are Tom, Ariana, and God. So let's be honest. But do I believe it? No, not at all. Not
What-
for a hot second.
What's going on with Ariana's boyfriend?
Oh, ex-boyfriend Josh?
Ex-boyfriend
That he
Josh.
tweeted.
Yeah, I
And
know.
you.
That was that caught me off guard because I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't I am aware that she has an ex-boyfriend named Josh.
Right.
I don't know really how he knew who I was, but I mean, it wasn't a lot. I think he didn't badmouth her to me. We did speak a little bit. I think it was just more, I'm the only one who understands what he's going through, seeing them together, because they kind of broke up over Tom and Ariana, because Ariana lied to him about the Vegas thing. They started dating, I guess, right after, from what he told me, they started dating right after Tom and Ariana Vegas scandal years ago, and he had always asked her if that were the case, and she lied about it, of course. So she didn't cheat on him with Tom. They started, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when it eventually came out, I guess, according to him, this is why they broke up. So I think really he just reached out to me just to kind of be like, to vent maybe, and just, I understand.
I mean, to commiserate. Like, that's what it was.
It's like someone else going through the same.
And I wanted to talk about this, and I know this is going to be tough, but Tom, he brought up the fact, you were talking about how you really, really hated that this all happened with Jax, but that you went back for seconds. And I wanted to talk to you about that and because I feel like you didn't get to fully express yourself on the reunion. I felt like there was maybe something that I didn't necessarily see. Like there was maybe some editing or something that I didn't see, but I want you to address that.
Yeah, actually, at the reunion, we really didn't harp a lot on the me and Jax thing. I guess we really didn't. So they didn't.
Yeah, it was like the last 10 minutes of the thing. Yeah.
Admitted that it happened twice, it was kind of like, oh, okay.
What's there left to talk about? Yeah.
Right.
But why do you...
I can go back for a second.
Why did you think that, and you're looking back, why did you do it?
Yeah. I don't have a justification for it. I really don't. The first time it happened, it was at my house. The second time was at his house. I didn't call Jax to come pick me up and whisk me away. Tom called Jax to come pick me up. Tom and I got in a really bad fight. He called Jax. He said, take her to your house, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the first thought when you see the show and you hear this, I thought that maybe you did it to get back at Tom, but I don't think that that's the truth.
No.
I really don't think...
I would have thrown it in his face.
Yeah.
I really don't have a justification at this point. Like, I really don't. It wasn't like, oh, I just really wanted to get laid, or like, I really wanted to hurt Tom. I didn't say no.
You've known Jax for a really long time, right?
6.5 years.
Was this the first time that anything has ever happened between you two?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, was there ever like a flirty energy or anything in the room?
And I remember Tom saying something like that. I don't know if it was at the reunion or in an interview or something.
Well, they all kind of, I think everybody was kind of alluding to that.
Or Stassi and Sheena. She said, she and Sheena, whatever. And no, and I don't look at Jax that way. I really, it's going to sound weird, but I really did always look at him kind of like my brother. And during the time, I know that's weird. It's like weird Alabama incestuous now. But like, during the time that Jax and I did hook up, I was not friends with Stassi. Not that it makes it any better, but I wasn't friends with Stassi. And it was basically Jax, Katie, and I that hung out like every day. Katie and I were like his best girlfriends. He would bring over bottles of Chardonnay to my apartment and like cry over.
And I remember like on the first season, like the two of you would go, I think you went to that Los Globos place, and
with
so
him.
we're like, yeah.
Right. And that's kind of just how it was. It was just all kind of being really good friends with each other. And it's like Katie would complain about Schwartz, and I would talk about Sandoval, and he would talk about Stassi. And it was just, I don't know, Jack's like a chick to me sometimes. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I have like a sneaking suspicion that maybe it was just like you were.
Some weird subconscious. We were both super lonely and in shit.
That's what I was gonna say. Like you were both lonely.
I'm totally open to that. I'm not gonna say that is what it is, but that's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I get.
And we were both really.
That doesn't justify it.
You were.
Yeah.
Watching Drive. Was the watching Drive part true? Oh.
Ryan Gosling turned you both on.
Yeah.
After a glass of Chardonnay. It would work for me.
I can't. That's funny.
But I will clear it up now really quick is that Jax and I we are chill, and because I'm in love with his girlfriend, and he came to my birthday, and he's been very nice and very cordial to me, and we've kind of swept it under the rug. I don't think he and I will ever have the friendship back that we had because there's been so much damage, but
you can be cordial.
And that's all. I think that's
what's her name? I've been seeing her a lot on his Carmen. Does she work at Sir?
No, she's a law student.
Oh, yeah, because I saw
really
he posted.
Smart,
he posted
really beautiful, and just
he posted like she was studying or something. Like it was, and she was like in like a flannel shirt with like underwear on, like looking at law
How long
books.
have they been together?
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe like a month.
Okay. I was gonna say because I saw him walking around the Grove with the brunette for like months.
He had another.
So sorry.
He had a
Vegas girl,
girlfriend
right?
in Vegas. Yeah, that
Okay.
I never met her. I don't really know anything about the relationship, but I hang out with Carmen a lot, and
They're good.
yeah,
She seems really
That's
nice.
nice.
I
She's
see her.
amazing.
She has
She's
a lot of
really
pictures
pretty.
with Sheena too.
yeah. I mean, she's always with us. Like, there at my birthday. I felt so bad 'cause she had school this morning. She got like probably 2 hours of sleep after
Wow.
my birthday bash. But she's amazing, and I've warned him, and so is Sheena time and time again. If you screw this up, she's in and you're out. So
Oh shit, that's awesome.
that's how cool she is. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I wanted to talk to you about this too. The fact that Stassi wanted you to send that apology letter, but she was like, I don't necessarily want an apology from you. But why do you think that she wanted that so bad? Do you think that she wanted you to grovel and beg for her friendship back?
Honestly, no. I was kind of surprised.
That was
when
weird that
she
Katie
said
and her
she
both made
wanted
this
me to
whole.
say sorry, because I really didn't think.
They made this whole thing like you should not have just sent a text.
Right.
You should have made more of an effort. But it's like
You know,
I feel like we're
effort's
done. I feel like
wasted.
we're done.
Yeah,
What more
and I
can you
can see
really
where she's
say?
Yeah.
coming from. That maybe she was just hurt, because I don't. Now that I'm not friends with her, I don't see her as ever hurt. I just see her as pissed off. But I can absolutely appreciate and understand that she probably was really hurt and heartbroken, and maybe, yeah, I don't know if it's like grovel's the right word, but maybe she just wanted to know that I was sorry and that I gave a shit whether or not she was going to give me that chance. It was more that attempt. Where for me, I did write them both a 4-page letter, like handwritten letter. I gave Katie hers, didn't give Stassi hers because I feel like it was like rubbing salt in the wounds.
Yeah.
Like, here, let me just keep saying I'm sorry, like it's a ploy to try to get our friendship back, which, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I wasn't trying to be insensitive. I just felt like what's done was done, and I wasn't going to make anything better by talking about it with her anymore.
Something that came up a lot this season was obviously you being really concerned that Tom did hook up with Ariana. Looking back on it, seeing like how everything panned out, do you think that you made it a bigger deal than it was? Or at the time, like, why were you so concerned about him hooking up with Ariana, knowing what has, like, your secret or what has happened?
Well, they're dating now.
Right.
So I mean, there you go. I mean, that's that.
Yeah, but I feel like it was made like such a big deal that she made out with him, which obviously it is. Like, he did cheat on you with her.
Yeah, and that time in Vegas, he deleted every call log, every text message, acted like they never saw each other.
Yeah, that's really
and I saw it on
shady.
Facebook
Definitely.
that she was in Vegas. That's how I figured the whole thing out to begin with. I mean, there's been I don't even want to really talk about him. Her ex-boyfriend was saying that Tom would text her all the time, and it was like an issue that he had, like I don't want to say it's an insecurity because I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it was something that he brought up to me too.
Like he had a suspicion.
Used to bother him probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he did bring up the fact that Tom would text her all the time, and vice versa. And the thing is, she never tried to be friendly with me. Not try to be my friend, but just be friendly with me. Never tried.
But were you more concerned about them being together or about you losing? I mean, were you more concerned about them hooking up?
Or losing Tom to her.
Yeah.
Losing Tom to her.
Okay.
100%. Because it was like, she's so cool and she's so funny and she's so easy and whatever. And I'm like, I know, God, I remember what those days were like
Right.
before all the baggage. It's always like that in the beginning. And I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll be engaged in a year. I don't know. Maybe they are perfect for each other. I don't know. It's not my business anymore. But I just, it's hurtful, and I think it's really shady on his part to act like we were never good for 5.5 years. It was the worst thing of his life, and they're so perfect. Of course you're perfect. You don't have any baggage together.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
made that point saying that he was like, it's very different.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, it was different 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for us too.
Before you cheated on me with 5 different girls, and before we lived together, and we had all these responsibilities together and things that just make things harder.
Why didn't you bring that up at the reunion? Because he brought up that you cheated on him with someone else during the relationship. Wouldn't you bring that up at the reunion?
I probably did. They probably just didn't put it in there.
Oh.
I mean, it was a long
like
day.
a- Yeah, a lot of the beginning of this season was you talking about how Tom cheated on
Vegas.
you. Yeah, in
There
Vegas.
were 2 girls in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
That
another girl.
specific time. And there was an ex-girlfriend years in the past, and there was a girl in France, and then Ariana.
Wow. And then I mean,
but then for me, and then also obviously
this is a tacky question. That's what the tacky question was that I was going to ask you. Like, how many people were that you cheated on? Was it did you talk about it? Like both of you cheating on each other within your relationship?
Never right away. Like the guy he's speaking of that used to work at Star, I mean, that was 4 years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, probably right around the time of the Ariana thing. And I didn't admit that to him until
he said
the summer.
Yeah,
I denied it for years. It was more of an emotional thing than it was a sexual thing, but even so, it still was. We should have broken up a long time ago, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
And we just kept sweeping things under the rug and moving past them rather than communicating about them, which is a huge issue I think Tom and I have always had, because he's one to just go, I don't want to talk about it anymore, let's move on and be happy, where I'm like, but if we don't talk about it, we're never really going to get over it.
Even worse, I think. Yeah.
Right.
And
So.
it'll be interesting. I do hope that y'all get another season, and I'm pretty sure you will, because your numbers have been amazing these last episodes, and I would be interested to see the two of you separate. I think it would be cooler, and I feel like the viewers, it'd be nice to see.
I feel like you'd have a lot of fun.
And even from even from the people that don't like me on social media, they just don't want to see me with him anymore.
Yeah, and we got that from a lot of people saying, like, we hope that you find someone nice and someone that really
Me too.
is great. And we all hope that, And I just think that the two of you, it's just like, it was toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got to a point where it was really toxic.
Annoying. Yeah.
Do you talk to Katie at all anymore? Not at all. Do you feel like you were a little bit wronged by her? Or do you feel like she just is being a good friend to Stassi and that's it?
No, I think she's following.
Right.
I absolutely do. I think that if Stassi would ever, like, not that she would, but if Stassi were to be like, well, I can be nice to Kristen, Katie would be nice to me. Because Katie and I were much closer than Stassi and I were. We also were all best friends, whatever. We each had our own separate friendships with each other, and we had the three of us. But I literally spent 7 days a week with Katie. I spent more time with Katie than I did with Tom. I mean, it was just all day, every day. And so for her to write me off even before the Jax thing came out, and to befriend Ariana so quickly, it's like...
That was a good point that Tom made. He was like, you two wrote off Kristen before this even came out.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell that on the show. Like, I think that they tried to blame it on the situation where in Cabo where you slept with Tom, and they were like telling you to break up or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they were blaming it on that, but it was like they were kind of pissy with you before that.
And I can understand where they're coming from, because it is really hard, and I know that, and I'm sure we all know that, to be friends with someone who's constantly like, I'm done, and then they go running back, and it's like, how many more times can I watch you cry and see you hurt, and kind of, it is annoying too, and it's hurtful to see your friend go through something like that. But at the same time, Katie and Schwartz aren't perfect, and we dealt with a lot of that too, and I dealt with Stassi and Jax for an entire summer.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's what I was
And
going
it's
to say.
like, I know it wasn't easy, and maybe you wanted to take space from me, but as my two best friends, especially Katie, though, to just say,
See you later. Yeah.
We've heard some like little inklings around Sir, just from like outside sources, about maybe other
Cheating.
couples cheating within the show.
Katie and Schwartz.
Yeah. Well, so care to divulge?
It's nothing that I've witnessed. I heard from someone who did witness this, and I'm not going to throw a name out, that they saw Katie kissing another guy at a club, and
At Sir or?
no, at a nightclub in Hollywood.
How long ago?
Do you think it was Katie or Tequila Katie? And how long ago?
I'm sure it was Tequila Katie. It wasn't that long ago. It was Grammy weekend.
Oh, so not recent. Yeah.
Last
so
month.
like
Super recent.
were y'all, was it one of those like OK Magazine parties?
We all went to we actually all did go to the OK Magazine party, and then when we left the OK Magazine party, myself and my group of friends went to one place. Katie and some other cast members and group of friends went to another club. And the next day, we had another, like, this gifting suite to go to. Jax texted me, because Jax likes to stir the pot, and Jax like, well, did you hear what Katie did last night? So then, he wasn't the one who saw it. It was someone much more reputable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I've sort of said something to her about it, but not. But I also know who the guy is, and he's very good friends with one of my best friends, and he's asked for her phone number on repeat, and it's all very shady.
Do you think Schwartz knows?
Jax told Schwartz.
And what does Schwartz say about it?
I don't know. They were making out at the gifting suite right after Jax told me he told Schwartz. So, but I also heard that Schwartz cheats on her. So it's like maybe they just have it. But I'm not
third
confirming
season.
that.
Yeah, third season.
I mean, I'm not confirming that because I honestly
engagement.
don't speak to either of them, and I don't want to claim that he does. But this is what I've heard.
I've seen Jax has been tweeting a lot, and I want to get to Jax really quick after this. But he was tweeting that there's so much drama that's happening right now at Star. What is this? Is he just trying to like stir up shit so that the producers like, see, there needs to be a third season?
I don't really know. Like I said, I mean, I'm not
So you don't
really
know
like friends with Jax yet. I've been around him a little bit, but I did read that he just started following me on Twitter the other day, so I started following him back again. And I did read, he said something like, "Oh my God, the drama," and I'm like,
What are you talking
"Why are
about?
you doing that?" And I mean, there is drama with Tom and I. Obviously, Tom was throwing some shade at Watch What Happens Live to Jax, and I feel the same way about Sandoval and Katie right now. Those with dirtier skeletons should not be throwing stones. Because I can sit back and safely say there is not a damn thing anyone on this cast can say about me that hasn't been said before or that I care if it comes out.
and that's something I think that the next season. I think the next season would be like, it'd be your like not redeeming moment, but that's lack of better terms. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like everything that you've done is out there. I think that's refreshing for you too, and just in life is to just move forward in a really honest place. Like, this is what's happened, and you don't have to carry that around anymore.
Right.
That's got to be refreshing.
It is. And so that's the only thing I can assume Jax is speaking of, because Sandoval has some skeletons, and I believe that Jax would make them very public if Tom were to cross him. And then same, I know Katie.
Interesting.
You said that you and Jax are in a better place. I don't know if you can speak for them, but what about Jax and Sandoval? Like, has Jax formally apologized? Are they on better terms? Or are they kind of just...
I don't talk to Tom right now. They're cool at work. I mean, they bartend side by side pretty often, but I think that, I assume that that's it. I don't think they actually, like,
hang out.
Yeah, I just wanted to get to Jax really quickly and get the two of you, the opinion, and also yours, Kristen, about why he has no emotions. And I thought Stassi made an awesome point with him when she was like, you were crying because you couldn't get me. You didn't get what you wanted. It wasn't about the fact that you were so in love with me that you really wanted me back. It's because you couldn't get what you wanted. And it feels like he is so selfish. And Tom also made a good point. It's like, when it comes down to it, is that you don't care about anyone but yourself.
I think he's made it very clear. The whole series that
I feel like he admits that.
Yeah, he shows no remorse. He is completely rude. I'm really not a fan of him just because it kills me to see him get away with so much. And even the way he was talking about jail, I'm like, you are such a jerk. Like, who do you think you are that you're so above everyone?
You're so cool for going to jail. Like,
right.
5 times, yeah.
And then can I ask you, because this has been said briefly, like, but what happened with him in Miami that he's not allowed back in Miami, or that, like, he has no friends from Miami?
What are the rumors? Can you say those?
Because I know, so I don't,
Okay, so obviously he's done some shady.
Yeah, Tom has told me.
Scale of 1 to 10, how bad?
Bad.
If it's true, I wasn't there, so I don't know if it's true. I mean, I've heard this for years and years and years. If it's true, it's definitely not something that Jax will want to come out.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's come out that people don't want to come out.
But again, like I said, and Sandoval better watch out, because if he really wants to go there, Jax has some really bad things to hold over his head that I know he doesn't want out either. So I don't know.
I wanted to move into some news and gossip.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So there was this whole Twitter battle between Brandy, Sheena, and Tom. Okay, what was this about? Because Brandy, it was funny what she said about y'all's show. She was like, she's made like a dig, and she was like, oh, it's the best scripted show on television. It was funny in the scheme of what she was saying. She's good at delivering a line.
Yeah.
But what were they saying to her? Because I tried to find it, and it was like really hard to like dig up on what was happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually didn't see that episode of Watch What Happens either, but I got a lot of tweets about the scripted thing.
Yeah.
So I voiced my opinion. Obviously, you guys know from personal experience, it's not scripted.
Yeah.
And Tom told me after he sent the tweets, he was very proud of himself, like very peacock. Like, did you see the tweets I sent to Brandy at Brandy Glanville? Something about, I don't know, he was like ripping on her appearance and saying like you're pissed off about like your nose between two ass cheeks or something like that. And like she's just pissed off because our ratings were better, and I don't know. I think Sheena has more than a right to say whatever she wants when she does, because Brandy's constantly digging at her. It's like, I'm not going to say, Brandy, get over it, because you don't have to ever get over it, but it's like, you just look stupid.
And she has more going on than to...
She
needs to move on.
Yeah.
She really does.
Did she dig at Leanne Rimes?
Yeah, they made
I don't know.
Well, they played this word association game Andy did. And they were like, you two just say whatever comes to your mind at first. And they were like, Leanne Rimes. And then Jenny McCarthy was like, HPV. And then Brandy said singer. So she was really she was trying, and then she made this face like, I'm not saying anything mean because I really want to say it. You know, like she makes a point to say things. Okay. And they have like Twitter battles. It's like weird.
So childish.
It's really weird. But yeah, but that's all the news and gossip I have. So, predictions. And there's not much prediction because it's a reunion. But I want to get from you, do you think, and have you heard if there will be a third season?
We still don't have the official word, totally, like straight up. But, I mean, it's like I've talked to producers, I've talked to network, and it's like, wow, your ratings aren't great. They're phenomenal. I mean, we beat Housewives. It's like, they have been interviewing new potential cast members a lot.
Do you know, if you had an ideal cast with the members that are there now, so those people that are there now.
As far as the primary you're talking about?
Who would you cut and who would you keep?
No Katie, no Stassi, keep everyone else. I think that, at least as of what's going on right now, let's say we do get picked up, I don't think we'll start filming for a couple of months. Who knows what can happen in 2 months? I mean, things change, by the day. I think as of this current moment, I think the most interesting storyline in real life that we have going on is obviously the Tom and Ariana thing, me and James. Sheena kind of being stuck in the middle, and Jax is always going to have relevance. I think Katie and Stassi are completely irrelevant. None of us talked about it.
I mean, to be fair, Katie did not say anything on the reunion. Like, at all.
And it sucks because I think Schwartz is really great.
Yeah,
I love him.
But it's like, Katie, I don't know.
And are there any people that stand out in your mind that are in the restaurant that you would like to see on the show? They could bring an element.
Other than James. Obviously, James is great on camera. And I mean, a lot of my good friends, not that all work at SUR, a few that do have been interviewed. A girl, Noemi, who's best friend, like really, really close friends with my roommate, my new roommate. So she's involved, and my best friend Brad has been interviewed. My best friend Cindy's been interviewed.
I want to know when they're going to get a gay guy on the show.
Yeah, I know, they don't either. We have one that works at SUR, Scott. I know, like we have the token gay guy.
We just have one.
We have the token gay guy, Scott. And Scott, I was really excited about the thought of him being out because he's just so damn funny and he's just Scott. But he just shot Below Deck. His family went on a charter. And they won't, even though he's not like a cast member by any means, they won't let him do that crossover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, come on, West Hollywood. I want to see like a gay guy on the show.
Yeah.
I'll come in. I'll be like your host. I'll be like,
I know.
You got a table for two? You're such a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But they have been interviewing. I just found out they've done like 3 days of interviews, and they have interviewed most of the employees. So they're not really like
searching outside. Okay.
Right. I mean, they came to me and said, who are you hanging out with now? We see all these people on your Instagram. So they go to my friends, my group of friends, people maybe Tom's hanging out with, I don't know. But then they went straight to the employees and just said, we just want to hear what you have to say because maybe something will come out we don't know about.
And do you think that Stassi will get her own show?
I don't know. I read something about, she did some interviews saying that, or someone brought it up and she said, I don't know. Honestly, I've asked my manager about it because we share the same manager. And I'm like, is that the case? And he claims he's not aware of it. I think it's a good possibility because I think the network really likes her. And we all know how good she's at reality television, but I think it'll end up like The City.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere to go with it. And
they'd have to cast a lot of people.
Right. And what I feel people like about Stassi so much is like the villainous in her. And if she's super happy in New York, it's like, well, that's really boring. Yeah.
And it's like Tom, I think Tom made he was like, I don't think that it would work at all. Last week he said that, and it was a good point what he said. He was like, her dynamic with the group is what's interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's interesting. She is good, obviously, whatever, but what our show has been so great at is because it's our relationships with each other, and certain people kind of come out more on top. Jax, Stassi, Scheana, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it's like. It'll be just like the city. You're gonna follow her around Cosmo or whatever magazine she's working for, and her new boyfriend, and this random group of friends.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
But she would be good. I think she's really funny. She's great at
Yeah.
reality
Oh my
TV.
God.
She is.
Yeah, she's really funny.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say thank you, and I know that we've been tough on you this whole season, and I just appreciate
mad.
your honesty, and I appreciate that you owned what happened, and I'm excited for next season because I do think there will be one next
I'm
season.
excited for new life.
Yeah, I'm excited for you too. That probably feels amazing.
I don't have to pretend to be with Tom anymore. I don't have to. I'm just like, oh,
You get to
so
be.
good.
You just
Cheers
get
to
to
be.
be.
so good.
And
I
you're
know.
30 and fabulous.
24.
Yes, 24.
Sorry,
All right, we're all
24,
22. Okay. And I'm just gonna be me, Jake DuPree @ Jake_Dupree, and on Instagram and Facebook @ Jake DuPree.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @ Sabrina P. Walker.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @ Miss Zias, and our show, Vanderpump Rules, AfterBuzz TV.
And Kristen, where can we follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @ Kristen Doute, Doute.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next season.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.